I had a request from one of the guys that wrote in asking if I could do a video on how you could hurt yourself as a driver in the trucking industry, and I thought that would be a good topic to discuss for a few minutes, because there are some ways you can seriously get hurt or killed in this line of work. In the driving category, the first one that came to my mind was driving tired. We all know that's a no-no, but it's a surprising what a toll that takes on guys in our industry. You should never drive tired. The second thing that's really hurting these days especially is distracted driving. These new cell phones and texting and that type of thing, that's just a recipe for an accident. That's a real danger, these things. I don't agree with them at all. But I don't think you can be dialing and texting and looking at the phone and looking at pictures someone sent you. Put the phones down. Another danger for us as drivers is driving too fast for conditions. And it's pretty easy to get yourself in trouble and get in an accident and hurt and kill yourself or somebody else by driving too quickly for conditions. Coming down a hill too fast in the winter. It never hurts you to go a wee bit slower than the traffic. It could possibly hurt you to be going too fast for conditions or too fast for the traffic. Choosing the wrong neighborhoods to be in and the wrong times to be in them. There have been all sorts of guys that have found that they've had to pick up or deliver in a bad neighborhood, especially after dark, and bad things have happened to drivers. It's common sense. Don't go into a bad area. You're not making enough. They're not paying you enough to go into a bad area and risk your life for a load. Don't even do it. And the last thing that I thought of that can hurt you while you're driving the truck is that if you haven't done a proper circle check and something bad happens, like you lose a wheel, particularly a steering axle wheel. So as goofy as the circle checks sound, there's a method to their madness, and you should have a look at these rims and tires, especially when you're doing a circle check, and examine your brakes, because it only takes once to cause a bad accident. So do a thorough, good circle check. It may save your life. It may save somebody else's life. GP Transco is one trucking company that does not need a driver's union. First-year drivers make between $80,000 and $95,000 a year. They're W-2 drivers. They've got full benefits, 401k with a match. They drive top-notch equipment, and they're treated with respect. GP Transco hires owner-operators as well. Check them out at gptransco.com. When you're outside of the truck, there are all sorts of dangerous situations you can put yourself into without even realizing it. Pinning up can be hazardous if you're not very careful with that. Don't get underneath the trailer ever. Or if you're going to get underneath the trailer to take off a pin lock or something, stick the back of the frame of the tractor underneath the trailer, so the trailer can only drop so far. It can only drop as far as the frame. I've talked about this before. Don't be underneath the trailer fooling around with the kingpin lock and hoping the landing gear holds. Almost always it will, but every once in a while something goes wrong. I've had landing gear collapse on me more than once, and it's a scary thing. Keep your head about you in truck yards and loading docks. There's been more than one guy that's been squished against a loading dock by a trailer, as some guy tried to back in and couldn't monitor everything all at once and caught a driver between the dock and the trailer he was putting in the door. Or a driver just walking around the corner or coming out between two parked trucks and another guy hitting him as he drives down the lane. Keep your head about you in parking lots. Clearing off or repairing trailer lights on the top of your trailer, or getting the snow off the roof of your trailer, climbing up high. You shouldn't do that, not without the proper equipment. I used to be a bad one for climbing up my back doors to repair a trailer light and just kind of hanging there, or working on my wiring up on top and just kind of hanging on the trailer hinges. Don't climb up the back doors of your trailer to fix lights. Don't do that. Get a shop to fix it, or get a proper ladder. Don't get up high on slippery roofs of trailers or anything like that. It can go very bad very quickly. I can't believe that I used to scale up there just to repair a light that was out. Something else you should be aware of is when you're working underneath your truck, checking the brakes or what have you, be aware that the air ride can settle and pin you underneath the truck. And that's happened to more than a few guys. So have someone with you if you're underneath the truck working on it for any reason, just so you don't get trapped under there. Don't crawl under here unless you've got someone else with you. And while I'm talking about underneath the truck, don't meddle with the brake pots. Those are for trained mechanics. They need to be caged when they're worked on. Those things are highly dangerous. There's very powerful springs in there. Springs strong enough to kill you if you try to take them apart improperly. Do not mess with the brake chambers unless you're a properly trained mechanic. Do not attempt to take apart brake chambers yourself. Finally, something else I became aware of just recently when I started doing flatbed work is to watch your footing when you're up on the deck strapping down loads. It's easy to lose your footing or get your foot caught on something on the load. Be very careful if you have to climb up on the top of the load for any reason whatsoever. Flatbedders, be especially aware. This is a hazard of your line of work. I guess the best advice I can give you is that think it through before you do anything. Think it through. Think of the potential hazards of whatever it is you're about to do. Then decide if it's worth doing this or not, or whether you should just take it to a proper shop and have someone else do it. Because if you're out of commission, if you can't drive the truck, you're not making any money. And it's tough to support the family when you're bedridden and stuck in the hospital with some stupid injury that could have been avoided. Take your time, think it through, and do the smart thing always. I want to show you this old t-shirt that I found in the truck. Let me show you the back of it here. It's from the Magic Wand Truck Wash in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, always back in the day, you had to be clean, or you should be clean before you enter California. And back then, before Little Sisters was around in Barstow, there was the Vernon Truck Wash in Vernon, which was kind of an iffy neighborhood, or there was the Magic Wand in Las Vegas. And as long as you went in there in the daytime, they did a pretty nice job. And this is a t-shirt from back in that day when I used to go in there. It wasn't the safest place at night after dark to go in and wash your truck. You had to kind of be careful that way. But through the daytime, it was fine. And I found this old t-shirt and it brought back memories. So I just wanted to show it to you. I don't even know if it's still there anymore. The last few years I frequented the Little Sisters in Barstow, but I found they did such a good job. Be careful out there, drivers. Take care. I worry about you. And I'll see you on the flip side.